Descartes, Prima Meditatio, Episode 2. Sed ingens opus esse videbatur, eamque aetatem expectabam, quae forderet tam maturdere ut capacendis disciplinis aptior nulla sequeretur, quardere tam diu cunctatus sum ut de inceps essem in culpa, si quod temporis super est ad agendum deliberando consumerem. But, he says, videbatur, it was seeming to be, esse, ingens opus, a monumental task, and probably implicit here is the dative personal pronoun mihi. It seemed to me to be an enormous task, and expectabam, I was waiting for eam aetatem. Notice that the verb expecto, unlike the English verb to wait, expecto is always transitive. You wait for something. If you want to express the idea of waiting in a place, you use the verb moneo, which means to stay in a spot. Expecto always needs an object. And I was waiting for that time of life. What kind? The time quae. And now we have this relative clause here, quae foret tam matura. The antecedent of quae, of course, is aetatem, thus feminine and singular. And foret here is a present subjunctive of the verb sum. Present subjunctive. The time of life which would be, and it has a futurive sense, the time of life which would be tam matura, so proper, so ripe, so prepared, that, now we have to wonder, why is this subjunctive? Well, this is what's called a relative clause of characteristic. Relative clauses are of two types. They may conclude with an indicative verb, or they may conclude with a subjunctive, as in this case. With an indicative, it's a simple statement of fact. With a subjunctive, it's a characteristic. The kind of time of life which would be, see, it hasn't happened yet, so mature, so ripe, so ready, that as a result, that's the ut. Notice how the tam sets up the result clause and the subjunctive sequeretur of the result, that no time, nulla is feminine, because aetatem, no time, aetas, implicit, no time would follow a time more appropriate or more suitable, and this is a feminine, singular, and nominative adjective in the comparative degree. No time more suitable would follow, capacendis disciplinis. These are both feminine plural and ablative. It's an ablative absolute. When more discipline or more study had been obtained. In other words, even if he should study more, a more suitable time would not follow, because he had reached such a point of maturity. Descartes was thinking that that's what he should do. He was waiting. Therefore, cunctatus sum, I delayed. And this is from the deponent verb cunctor. As you can see, it's first conjugation, thus the a here. I delayed for such a long time, here's another result clause, that, straight off, I would be at fault, I would be guilty, if, here's the C clause, if quod temporis, if any time was remaining, quod temporis, remember that after si, nisi, nec, and ne, when we see qui, quae, quod, it is to be understood as aliqui, aliquae, aliquod, any time, aliquod temporis, and here the partitive genitive, of course, the genitive of the whole. If any time is left for doing, I would be at fault, de inceps essem in culpa, if, see, I should use it up merely in thinking about taking action, in deliberating. Agendum here as a gerund, and deliberando as a gerund also.